Hello, and welcome to the show. I'm Eric Trotter.
And I'm Nick Collier. This week we partner with Shaw TV, Lethbridge's community producers, to revisit some of your stories from the year that was 2021. The Community Producers is a program where we showcase stories and segments made by community members from all over Lethbridge and southern Alberta.
2021 continued to see us in the grips of a worldwide pandemic. Despite the COVID-19 situation, many great things are still happening here in southern Alberta. For example, January marked the 150th anniversary of the Battle of Belly River between the Blackfoot and Cree people. That event took place at what is now known as Indian Battle Park in Lethbridge.
Okay, Nista Nidoniko Pamela Beebe from Gainai. I work as the Indigenous Relations Coordinator with the City of Lethbridge. I'm here today at Galt Museum to let you know that we will be acknowledging the 150th anniversary of Indian Battle, also called the Battle of Belly River. It's located just down the hill from here in Indian Battle Park. The park is a very popular spot for us as Nitsitapi. We go down into the park for picnics, for gatherings, to walk along the river valley. And so this event is very significant. It's something that we've talked about in our families for many years, the battle between the Blackfoot people and the Cree people.
Okay, nistonako ka ninapix. Nitsapinch ka sim Mike Bruised-Head. I just introduced myself and my Blackfoot name, Chief Bird to Eagle. I quickly wanted just to talk about the battle here. Let me call it the Battle of Belly River. So the battle was between Apetsitapi, Siksikaitstapi, the Weasel people or the Blackfoot people, and Sinau, the Cree. We all have our traditional territories. And so the Blackfoots that were camped across on the other side, close to the confluence of St. Mary and Belly, were camped there. And predominantly the people that were left behind in the camps were older people. The older people were the first line of defense till the younger warriors came back from hunting, other traveling expeditions, and were the second line of, if you want to call it infantry, line of battle lines. And so what makes this very prominent is that the traditional tribe, Sinau, wanted to overtake literally the territory here. And it's pretty much unheard of. We've had skirmishes in the past, but this was why it was more prominent. It was because they went deep into Blackfoot territory to have this battle. When that happened in 1870, the Blackfoots went all out, and they were going to fight to death. And so they already knew the Crees were coming because of very superior Blackfoot scouts that knew them when they're coming through close to Saami, what is now Medicine Hat, and through Cypress Hills. Like I say, the younger warriors, Algotsinex, were out someplace, and they came as soon as the word got out, horses, everything. We were in very few seconds, we had a battle plan, and that was just to purely protect our families first and the lands. It was an all-out battle. It could have gone the other way, but we had, you know, we knew the land, we knew the landscape, and that was a huge advantage. Plus Blackfoot, they say, very gentle people, but you don't want to push the wrong button in because they'll fight. And today you still have some of those characteristics in the modern Blackfoot people. And so that's just in our genes, that we'll protect our families. And that was the initial thought. They wanted to, the older warriors wanted to protect their families, the grandmothers, the grandchildren, and they went all out till the young warriors came in and completed the maneuvering here. There was, after the battle, there was a lot of bodies here. the then called Belly River was like red water. Not long after that, the high river winter and the spring washed those bodies downstream. And sometimes I wonder, Indian Battle Park, if there's still bones in the bottom or if they all washed out. One thing that even though in the battle, I hear stories that the elders prayed for the Cree, their spirits, to go to their good place. That's a huge thing, to pray for the enemy. Imagine doing that for your enemy in the utmost respect after a battle. Nobody asked for the battle. The Blackfoots did not ask for the battle. The people that wanted to have a warfare, create war, they came here. Blackfoots have never, as a huge group, there's been small skirmishes on the infringement of the traditional enemy territory, but the Blackfoots have never gone into other people's territory to take the land, to take the territory, because they also respected that their Creator's stories put them there first, and our Creator's stories put us here. And so that is, the story. So it is called Indian Battle Park here. And I've talked to many elders in the past and even presently. They don't want to soften the name. Somebody said, well, if they don't like the word Indian, or put Blackfoot Cree Battle Site, because that's what it was. And maybe that should be, because they don't want to soften the history here. And like the elders say, it's a message here that now we'll work towards our own intertribal reconciliation, how we get along with the Cree. But use this as a reminder, this is what happens when dishonoring peaceful alliances happens. And so they want to use this as a reminder, let's never do that again.
The Battle of Belly River was a big part of southern Alberta history. It was the last major conflict between the Cree and the Blackfoot people, and the last major battle between First Nations on Canadian soil.
On to February we go. An exhibition park highlighted the southern Alberta prairies to showcase a family-run farm called Diamond Sun. This feature shows the love and care that goes into growing the food that we eat.
Farming, it's a privilege, it's an honor to be able to grow food for the people of the world. Farming was in me. Mom has always said that. I was always out with Dad, fixing and working on equipment and doing what typical young kids do. This quarter section of land here, we got potatoes on. It has a history with our family. When Dad started farming in 1963, he rented, or 1961 actually, this is a quarter section he rented that Kazinga Farms was started from. Dad was born in 1934, Mom was born in 1940 in Holland, and after World War II, Europe was in such tatters. The towns that they lived in, they were liberated by Canadian soldiers, the Canadian Army. Dad was a little boy when that, little boy, he was mid-teens when that happened, and that stuck in his mind. And when he always told me the stories that when the soldiers came in, he wanted to move to Canada and immigrate. That's what he did. It was time for Dad to slow down, and we had to start taking over the farm, and the farming industry was just reeling from the 80s depression. that claimed a lot of farms. And we grew beans, grain, and I thought that there's no way we can make this work on that, growing those crops. So then that's when we got into potatoes. Dad was dead against it at first. I remember going to Tabor and I mentioned it to him. Oh, that was a quick trip back home. He was so upset, but he calmed down and thought about it. And it was the last couple of years that he was alive, he told me it was a good decision to take the farm into the next generation. And now with our son, Brendan, he's 17 years old, and he's a farmer already. I can see it. His passion that he has for this and making sure that stuff is done right and you're not cutting corners, that people get what we eat. Our area is one of the best in the world to grow potatoes in. And we're fortunate for that, and as Southern Albertans, that we can eat produce produced here. People want to be connected to the land nowadays. People want to know where their food comes from, how it's produced. They want to see it, they want to experience it, they want to feel it. But equally as important is the story behind the product. And here we have it today.
Alberta grows over 55,000 acres of potatoes every year, along with corn, wheat, durum, canola, and sugar beets. It's amazing to see the amount of passion that goes into farming our food.
On to March now, and this next piece is an exploration of pitching a children's show where a single press of a button could cancel the idea. The button is a glimpse into a darker side of how content can be appropriated from its creators.
Yep.
My assistant work on a better pitch. Okay. We can work something up. Blues, no, I'm
Telling you it's the next big thing.
If
you don't want it, you don't want it. I'll work on it. We'll get this solved.
No, work on a new pitch.
Oh.
Because blues is just not gonna.
All right.
You know, I'm not sold on that. We'll be in touch. Send in the next one, please.
Right away, sir. We have someone by the name.
Come in, have a seat.
Thank you. Tracy, we spoke earlier today?
Right. The puppeteer / cartoonist.
Right. So, I brought my pitch and everything. How would you like me to present?
Give me a natural rundown, no big show or anything, until we really understand your core concept. I'm not interested in any frills.
Okay, let's see. This is Chester. He's our main character. He's sort of a bird that teaches children about things like the creative arts, ideas, problem solving, and sexuality.
Tracy, let me stop you there. I get a lot of, let's say, big ideas in this office, okay? And people tend to go far away from what their core concept is. My role, and will continue to be this role should this project keep going, is to keep you on track. So every time you start to veer off, I'm gonna hit that buzzer, pull you right back in. Do you understand?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So these are the supporting characters. There's Birdie, Swampwald, and Edgar. They sing songs with Chester, and they teach the side things like math, language, science. Is this okay?
That sounds good, but what's your premise, your story?
Right, that's the thing. So Chester and company live in an industrial area. They face things that urban dwellers won't understand every day, like the trees cut down, garbage strewn everywhere, fires coming from nuclear power plants.
Okay, let me stop you again on that one, okay? We can't have children afraid of industry. By all means, teach them about the environment and pollution and all that crap. But we're making a TV show here. They can't be afraid to turn on the TV.
Right. Yeah, I understand. It needs a little reworking. But let me get to the unique twist that we've built in that makes it a choice that you have to have.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
So Chester and his friends all have a controversial disorder, but we never reveal what they are. We let the kids try to use their intuition to understand and discover what the disorders are. It could be depression, anxiety, ADHD, addiction. When they meet these people in their real lives, then hopefully they learn not to judge so much, and they learn to understand the differences, so that everyone is part of the community. There's no outsiders. So it's an outside-in model rather than an inside-out. Do you understand?
Go on.
Now, each episode, one character has a problem related to their disorder, and they have to learn to just move through it. That's the special thing about this show, is that they need to learn to move on through life and accept things. Kids are taught practical skills, patience, kindness, and tolerance.
This is different from anything I've heard before.
These are some of the reactions from the test audiences that we've shown the pilot to.
You have a pilot.
We took it to schools, youth centers, hospitals. We built a live show, made our own costumes, our own set pieces.
Those easy to make.
We've designed it to be simple, to keep the main ideas at the forefront. The results were phenomenal. All the kids wanted to learn more, not just about the characters, but about themselves and their own differences. It created a need for self-exploration.
And that led to them wanting more episodes.
Yes, exactly.
You've already produced a successful pilot. You've had a short-run live series. You were able to do all of this through community donation.
We are really committed and driven with this project because we see that it has the potential to do good and teach good to the next generation.
This has brought appeal, especially to the technological generation. This could really be something.
You think so?
I'd love to set up a meeting with your co-producer and start working on stuff, marketing, maybe for tablets and phones, blurbs about the show's themes.
Yeah?
I have a friend who's reaching out into the family market. If we broaden our demographic, we could reach millions.
That would be such great exposure.
YouTube, Vimeo. Hell, we could even create new diseases, market them to young adults, even seniors.
Well, not diseases per se.
I can see it now. This is the show that cured cancer. Websites are going to eat this up, and parents are going to start flooding in. Hell, we can even start marketing to the handicapped, the minorities. We can even distribute to poorer countries. Really get that last bang for the buck.
Well, but the point is...
Tracy, you really struck me. I want you to get your best people on the line. Animators, puppeteers, whoever you need to get this off the ground.
Most of our staff are parents who have children who've been afflicted with these types of...
All right. Clearly we need to get people with a little bit more industry experience. The last thing we want is a bunch of moms whining about carrying their kids. The point is to make money after all.
The Button was released in 2020. It was written and directed by Garrett Mallory Scott.
On to April now, a month when we begin to shake off the winter blues and get outdoors to experience nature. If you didn't know, Lethbridge is home to a wild turkey population. Wildlife photographer and filmmaker Rick Andrews takes a look at their history in this area and how they may have arrived here.
Hi, I'm wildlife photographer and filmmaker Rick Andrews, and today, in this short film, we're going to talk turkey. Earlier this month, a rafter of wild turkeys was spotted here in Lethbridge's Indian Battle Park. Although Lethbridge is surrounded by known wild turkey populations, the closest habitat is over 120 kilometers away. So the question on everyone's mind is, where did they come from and how did they get here? Alberta Environment and Parks tell us these wild turkeys are the Merriam's turkeys that are native to North America. But they also tell us that Alberta is well beyond their natural range. In his book, The Wild Turkey, Biology and Management, James G. Dixon tells us that in 1962, Alberta Fish and Wildlife released 21 Merriams from South Dakota into the Cypress Hills Provincial Park. Since then, the turkeys have done well, growing to an annual average population of about 400 birds. Then, in 1972 and 73, 12 Merriams from the Cypress Hills and 13 from Nebraska were released into the Porcupine Hills, where their population has since grown to about 300 birds. Then again, in 1988, local sportsman groups trapped and transferred 49 birds to two sites in the foothills, to the west and southwest of the Porcupine Hills. Again, according to Dixon, wild turkeys also occasionally range north into south-central Alberta from the Sweetgrass Hills in Montana. The Merriam's turkey is the heaviest member of the Galliformes family, yet it is still slightly smaller than many domestic breeds. As is true with most Galliformes, they have relatively short wingspans, yet Merriams are still capable of short flight. Since coyotes also reside down here in the river valley, it is something they will use as a defense mechanism, especially at night when they roost in the branches of nearby trees. These wild turkeys are omnivores and therefore spend a large part of their day foraging. Their diet typically consists of grasses, seeds, berries, and insects, all of which this river valley habitat provides them. This species also has somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 feathers, so they need to spend a great deal of time preening. But back to the original question. Where did they come from, and how did they get here? Well, there are perhaps several options. It may be perhaps a bit of a long shot, but it is possible they traveled here from one of the surrounding habitats. Lethbridge is located in the northwest corner of the Great Plains, so other than those in its river valleys, there are not many trees here. This country is also fragmented by roads, railways, power lines, and irrigation canals, so if they did travel here by themselves, it's more likely that they simply followed the river valley. After all, no one knows when they left, or how long they may have been traveling. Another option may be that they escaped from captivity somewhere. There are private game farms in Alberta that apparently sell wild turkey chicks to fish and game groups who may then release them into the wild. Since it's unlikely these groups would intentionally release them so close to a city, perhaps they simply escaped from the place where they were being kept. A final option is that they may have simply been dropped off here. Since they first showed up, they haven't moved too far and have remained fairly close to this parking lot. While there are cottonwood trees here for them to roost in and food for them to forage, other than the river, which is still some ways off, there is no natural source of water here, only a dog bowl that always seems to have water in it. While turkeys are very adaptable, this habitat is very different than that of their surrounding ranges, which has an average elevation of about 1,400 meters, compared to the 850-meter elevation of this Lethbridge River Valley Park. The habitats into which they were formerly released are typically in montane subregions, which also contain aspen parkland. There you will find trembling aspen and balsam poplar, along with conifers such as Douglas fir and lodgepole pine, all of which is very different from this riparian cottonwood forest. After watching these turkeys for a while, I noticed that one of them also has a band on its leg. It doesn't appear to have any visible number on it, but regardless, still looks like it was placed there by human hand. Another characteristic I noticed about these turkeys is they don't appear to be all that wild, and instead seem to tolerate human presence very well. Well, those are a few possible explanations, but since no one seems to know for sure where they came from or how they got here, for now at least, it will remain a mystery. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed the short film about wild turkeys and learned a little bit more about them. Until next time, I'm Rick Andrews. Thank you for watching.
Those birds should watch out when Thanksgiving comes around. If you're interested in seeing more of Andrew's work, visit rickandrewsphotography.com.
In May, we took a look at some of the events that the Lethbridge people of Volunteer Lethbridge put on over the past 40 years. Some of these events are no longer taking place, while others are brand new. Regardless, all had an important impact on the city of Lethbridge.
Since 1981, Volunteer Lethbridge has been actively contributing to the community's development. 40 years back, the YWCA started the Lethbridge Volunteer Bureau as a 3-year government-funded project under what eventually became known as the Human Resources and Skills Development Canada. At the end of the funding in 1984, the YWCA facilitated the transformation of the project to an independent, not-for-profit organization as we currently maintain. The first home of the Lethbridge Volunteer Bureau was at the McFarland Building, where the YWCA administration and program staff resided during the construction of the new building at 604 8th Street South. The Volunteer Bureau moved with the YWCA into the new building in 1983 and lived there until it became independent, at which time it moved into a northside location with the Lethbridge Shopper. Renamed in the 80s as a Community Volunteer Center, the organization moved to the Bill Kurgan Center. In 2000, the organization was renamed Volunteer Lethbridge, and in 2011, it moved to the DeVita Place. A partnership was struck with the University of Lethbridge and saw it move in November of 2013 to 324 5th Street South to the Dr. Foster James Penny Building. It is 40 years of history, 40 years of a variety of programs and events such as Leaders of Tomorrow, The Leaders of Tomorrow was an inspiring gala that celebrated youth ages 5 to 24 who have made contributions to the community throughout their volunteering activity. Project Paintbrush was created to assist Lethbridge seniors and special needs homeowners who are physically and financially unable to paint their fences. For almost 2 decades, volunteers painted houses, fence, and decks for community members. National Volunteer Week, as the name states itself, National Volunteer Week honors all volunteers who have made differences across Canada and in our own community. It has been a tradition since 1943, where it was first proclaimed in Canada by the government as Canadian War Services Department. Color Fun Run. In partnership with the University of Lethbridge Student Union, the Color Fun Run is a colorful 5K walk/run to raise money for Volunteer Lethbridge's various community programs. Voices of Change. The Voices of Change program was designed for new Canadians to help them be a part of a group and focus on developing conversational English language skills and connecting them with the community through volunteerism. Gift wrapping. For the gift wrapping program, volunteers would wrap presents and provide customer service for mall patrons during the holiday season. Human Voice Drive. The Human Voice Drive consists of volunteers recording their voices into a human voice bank so that others who are not able to speak can receive personalized voice. You Volunteer Program. Volunteer Lethbridge partnered up with the University of Lethbridge to create a liaison between the students and volunteering for the community. You Volunteer works to pair students with unique volunteering opportunities around the city, supporting their unique passions and helping them gain real-world experiences in the area or industry that they're studying in. 100 Companies That Care. The 100 Companies structure was made to set up organizations to make regular monthly contributions in which funds got pooled together and companies then together voted on where the funds could be located. Drive Happiness. The Drive Happiness program is a new service that has been made accessible to the community to provide seniors with affordable and accessible transportation, such as medical appointments, shopping, banking, recreational, etc. Expert Grant Support. The Expert Grant Support program helps nonprofits to access expert fund development with experts in the field. Nonprofits receive help to write their grant application entirely for free. The Keep in Touch program. The Keep in Touch program is intended to reduce isolation and loneliness and disconnectedness among seniors. The program connects individuals for social interaction and helps find resources via friendly weekly calls. Over the years, Volunteer Lethbridge has established a solid reputation as a leader in voluntary and nonprofit sectors. Our services has grown and evolved over the years to meet the needs of other members, agencies, and individual volunteers in the community. We are grateful and thankful for the support we have received in the last 40 years. Thank you.
Volunteer Lethbridge has been helping people out for 40 years and will continue to do so. Volunteer Lethbridge is always looking for new people, and if you are interested, check out volunteerlethbridge.com for more information. Coming up after the break, we will take a look at some stories from the summer and early fall months, including a feature on some of Lethbridge's best hiking trails. We'll look back on the legacy of Chris Spearman, who retired from Lethbridge's top job in 2021.
I wish I had that experience when I was young. Working as a volunteer at Lethbridge Girls Rock Camp is inspiring. Watching someone grow in the span of a week, playing an instrument, writing lyrics, or as a person gives me a lot of hope for the future and for music. It's an honor to support these girls and learn alongside them.
For more information, go to lethbridgegirlsrockcamp.com and make a difference in a child's life.
Every year, 10 million children visit Children Miracle Network hospitals. Don't worry, you can help. All you need to do is get up, grab your favorite game, and get ready to stream. Open your laptop, put down a light, and play your heart out. This Extra Life, ask your viewers to donate to your guild. We'll see you online.
you love your pet, Lethbridge Animal Services would like to remind you to register your animal. When your cat or dog is lost, license tags provide proof of ownership and allow our team to return your best friend Rex, your buddy Killer, or little Princess Fluffy Mittens quickly. Responsible pet ownership starts with you. Remember, all dogs over the age of 6 months must be registered. Come visit us at 2405 41st Street North, open Monday to Friday, 9 until 6, and Saturdays 11 to 5.
People are hungry all year round. Studies show that 1/3 of college students experience food insecurity. And the holidays aren't the only time that this happens. The LCSA Food Bank accepts non-perishable food donations year-round. You can help your fellow students by donating today to the LCSA. For more information or to donate, go to mylcsa.com or go to the LCSA kiosk near Center Core.
Welcome back. I'm Grace Lingell. Up next, for the month of June, we explore the small town of Fanny Bay. In this 9-minute feature video, Terry Petts captures and highlights the beauty of the BC community.
The first town entering the Comox Valley from the south on Highway 19A is Fanny Bay. This small town, with less than 1,000 residents, is famous for its shellfish production, particularly oysters. From a bird's eye view, the town is hidden by evergreen trees. Surrounding waters are fed by pristine mountain creeks and are kept clean. Open fields and marshes are a favorite for birds. The local people live in harmony with nature. Being a part of the rainforest, the forests are lush and green all year, with some deciduous trees displaying an amazing show of colors in the fall. The Beaufort Mountains protect Fanny Bay and the surrounding area known as Baines Sound from the west and keep the climate mild. It is not very far from the beach to the mountains, and there is much of Mother Nature's beauty to see. The rugged, snow-capped peaks preserve the secrets of time. Only the eagle knows some of the mysteries. Let's see why everybody is looking at those log booms. Well, it's the local celebrities, the sea lions. They come here to feed on the herring and rest on the logs in sunshine and rain until the herring spawn late winter. Pristine rivers, clean waters, lush forests, snow-capped mountains. You can find it all here in Fanny Bay.
small town of Fanny Bay is located on Baines Sound, east of Vancouver, and is known for their fine oysters.
Up next for the month of July, we have the top 5 Lethbridge Parks and Pathways hosted by Ben Martin. As he shows us, Lethbridge maintains 130 parks and natural areas, so there are many to choose from.
We begin our countdown here in North Lethbridge with number 5, Pavan Park. This park offers lots of amenities to people who want to use the parks this summer, including day-use rentable recreational facilities, picnic shelters, combination of shale and paved walkways, and lots of scenic river views that allow you to enjoy our city's river valley. Coming in at number 4 on our 5 best parks and pathways in Lethbridge. Again, over in West Lethbridge is Popson Park, which is behind me here, the entrance to the park, which greets us with a nice short drive down through the scenic valley and into the welcoming view of Lethbridge's river bottom. A great park if you're looking for a place for an off-leash dog walk, an afternoon jog, or if you just want to sit by the shore and dip your feet in the water or cool off on a sunny afternoon. Heading over to West Lethbridge, our number 3 best for Lethbridge Parks and Pathways is Nicholas Sharon Park, with plenty of pathways for hiking around the park, lakeside views, and even outdoor fitness equipment and frisbee golf. This park offers a great deal of amenities for people who are wanting to get out this summer and enjoy the summer weather. Coming in at our number 2 spot for Lethbridge's best parks and pathways is Indian Battle Park. Just off of downtown Lethbridge, this park offers a wide range of amenities for people to enjoy this summer, including a historical walkthrough, panoramic views of our city's signature bridge, the Helen Schuler Nature Center, and Fort Whoop-Up. This park offers a wide range of amenities for people to enjoy, including hiking trails and off-leash areas for pet owners as well. And finally, taking our number 1 spot for Lethbridge's top 5 parks and pathways to enjoy this summer is Henderson Park, featuring the beautiful Henderson Lake, which also features a walking path circling the span of the lake. Adjacent to the park are great amenities, including the Henderson Lake Golf Course, the beautiful Nikki-Yuko Japanese Gardens, and many other great amenities that make this our number 1 choice for Lethbridge's best parks and pathways. So from our selections, you can see that Lethbridge provides a wide range of amazing parks, pathways, and other recreational facilities to enjoy during our summer weather. Thanks for watching. For Shaw Spotlight, I'm Ben Martin. Hopefully we'll see you out this summer enjoying this city's parks, pathways, and facilities.
Hopefully when a Chinook hits Lethbridge and it's a little warmer, you can get a chance to check out one of these amazing parks, even in the wintertime.
Coming up next, we have a small story produced by Ryan Kredick about little libraries around Lethbridge and their purpose.
So a little free library, or in Lethbridge we call ours little Lethbridge libraries, At the core, they are book exchanges. So they are a take a book, leave a book kind of idea, or even just a take a book spot, a way for us to foster community, all tied up with a lovely bow of literacy and reading. The city and Ability Resource built them, the library stocked them, and from then on, we have been kind of monitoring and taking care of them through the years and partnering with neighborhood associations to make sure that, you know, there's people in the neighborhood that are loving them and taking care of them. There are different styles. Some are made out of wood, some are old newspaper boxes. People have repurposed microwaves, all sorts of cool things. Basically, you want something that's going to keep the books dry and in Lethbridge out of the wind so they don't blow away to Medicine Hat. It's fun for us because we, again, can get, you know, books out to people, which is great. But it's really a community building program, more than a library program or anything like that. The idea is that it's, you know, a meeting place where you can, you know, meet friends or family or you know, your neighbors, but also meet people that you wouldn't necessarily normally talk to, right? You just happen to be there at the same time, checking out what's new in the library box. And, you know, it's a way to get to know different people.
Who knew there were so many little libraries in this community? What a cool concept for bringing people together.
September transitions us into fall, but it brings a new form of activity into the community. In this feature video, Jerem Scott from Tourism Lethbridge discusses and demonstrates cycling and what you can do to be a part of the fun.
For those that love to ride, Lethbridge is a great place to be. No matter what your experience level or preferred riding terrain, Lethbridge is a cycle city with many choices. We recently caught up with some cycling connoisseurs that shared their favorite places to ride both in and around Lethbridge.
One of my favorite bike rides in Lethbridge is what I call the classic loop, which is essentially around Henderson, down the Green Strip, up Scenic Drive, and back around the Bike Boulevard. It's a short ride, it's pretty much all flat, but it's very scenic and very nice and an enjoyable cruise around the neighborhoods of Lethbridge.
I've been an avid mountain biker pretty much ever since I started biking, so I prefer mountain biking over any other type of cycling, though I do ride multiple disciplines. I like to ride primarily in the 6 Mile area of Lethbridge, which is out behind the Lethbridge College. But there's also a lot of really good trails along the river bottom on the west side of the river beside the train bridge in that area.
I really enjoy riding my bike around Lethbridge parks like Nicholas Sharon, where I am today, and finding spots along the Coalbanks Trail as well.
I do all sorts of biking. I've done lots of mountain biking, lots of road biking. My favorite road rides are usually heading south. So heading south towards like Welling and McGrath and all the way down to the border, definitely some nice riding out there. And if I'm going mountain biking, I usually go in the area behind the college. So the 6 Mile area that's become really popular in the last few years. It's pretty quiet, there's lots of trails down there and you can kind of get away from the city a little bit more. And there's lots of good views down there as well.
In Lethbridge, obviously we're in the coulee, so there's lots of places right by the river bottom to go, just leisurely riding, or if you're more into it, there's some good trails and some dirt jumps as well for all different sorts of bikers. Lethbridge is also really big into BMX racing, which we have here in big track in Lethbridge as well.
Balancing recreational pursuits and the sustainability of our river valley and coulees requires careful planning and oversight. The beauty and diversity of this ecosystem is worth preserving. Jessica from the Helen Schuler Nature Center explains what this means for cyclists.
So the nature reserves are the only 4 places in the whole city where we ask people not to bike. They are areas where we encourage low impact activities, and there are some really amazing places to go and bike in the city. There are lots and lots of trails that go throughout the river valley. Indian Battle Park, so just south of the train bridge, has some really beautiful paved pathways if you're looking for somewhere a little bit easier to bike. In through Botterill Bottom and up into 6 Mile Coulee, there's lots of different types of bike trails for many different types of biking. So depending on what people are looking to do, there's many different areas where you can bike. It's just that the nature reserves are one area where we ask people not to go.
To complement our existing infrastructure, we're expanding our trail system. The newly announced Core Van Ray Link Pathway we'll add a 15-kilometer path linking the city of Lethbridge to one of our favorite regional attractions, the Birds of Prey Center in Coaldale. For more Lethbridge cycling info, check out the link in our description.
Explore the city and the environment while being active. For more information about biking trails, go to tourismlethbridge.ca.
October is the month we give thanks for all of the good fortune and blessings we enjoy. Among those is our democracy. In October of 2021, we thanked Lethbridge's former mayor, Chris Spearman, for his service over the previous 8 years. He retired. In this report, we highlight some of the things that he's done. Also, in the month of October, Lethbridge elected a new mayor and council. Blaine Hagan was elected mayor, and he'll serve in that position for at least the next 4 years.
Still with city governance, a member of Lethbridge City Council is renowned for her knowledge and expertise on the history of Lethbridge and southern Alberta. Also, the president of the Lethbridge Historical Society, Belinda Crowson, enlightens us with 2 ghost stories from Lethbridge's past.
Back when this building was the Bowman School, a young girl was harshly beaten by one of the teachers. The young girl's name was Star, and she was a young Chinese girl. And one day she came to school wearing trousers. And when she went into the girl's bathroom, the teacher thought a boy was sneaking into the girl's washroom. So she followed her in and unfortunately beat the young girl. The story goes that Star cried for days following the event. And if you ever go near where the old girl's washroom used to be, you can actually still hear crying sound of a young girl. I have told this story to many classes and groups over the years, and after one telling, a young woman came up to me afterwards and said, "Thank you for finally telling me that story." She said she had taken many classes here when this was the Bowman Art Gallery, and she and her friends had heard strange noises, sounding like somebody crying. When they had gone to the instructors and told them what they heard, they were just simply told, "You're imagining things," or "It's only the wind." But she said finally now she had an explanation and she knew what she'd been hearing. Two things you should probably never have at the same time is a husband and a boyfriend. Mrs. Lazard broke that rule in 1910 and it led to death in Lethbridge. Walsall Choberter was convinced by his girlfriend to murder her husband. So he waited in the dark between Hardyville and Lethbridge for Alex Lazard to come home from work. When Alex and Walsall met, there in the dark space between the two communities, a fight broke out. Alex grabbed a stick and hit Walsall over the head. Walsall pulled out a gun and shot Alex 3 times. He thought he had killed him, so he left him there thinking he was dead. Incredibly, Alex was still alive, and he managed to crawl back on his hands and knees a mile back to Hardyville to get help. They gave him medical attention, put him in a wagon, and took him into the Galt Hospital. In the Galt Hospital, Alex Lazard passed away, but not before announcing that Walsall was his murderer. Walsall Choberter was arrested, tried, and convicted of murdering Alex Lazard. And he was executed here in Lethbridge, being the only man to ever be executed right here in the city of Lethbridge. Back in those days, we followed British tradition. And British tradition was to put the grave as close to the gallows as possible. So what they actually did is they built the gallows and put the grave right underneath, so that when Alex was hanged, he dropped right into his own grave. Then they simply covered him up and quick climbed the body, and he was done. Now, where did they do this execution? They did it in the stable yards of the Mounted Police. Now, the Mounted Police remained in the same spot from 1886 to this year, till 2021. So here where we are in the middle of Civic Centre, somewhere Walsall was executed. Where precisely? Well, from the best we know, it was actually right here where Fritzick Pool is. So the grave of Walsall is under the pool today. And they say if you're ever here at Fritzick Pool and you see strange bubbles in the water, that's simply Walsall saying hello.
Who knew that Lethbridge had such a rich and storied supernatural history? It really makes you wonder if there isn't more out there.
Who doesn't love a ghost story?
I know I do. Telling ghost stories around a campfire is always a favorite pastime when camping.
Oh yeah, me too. Like, I have so many in mind that I could just spill it right now.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite one?
There's a lot of my favorites. Well, that's our show for today. We hope you enjoyed looking back at some of the stories and segments from 2021 and are looking forward to seeing new segments and stories we will see in 2022.
Thanks for watching.